We have choices, and I chose to smoke, but if I would have had the information I think that we have today, my choice would have been much different.
I was so addicted to cigarettes that I just could not quit even when I was diagnosed with cancer. I still proceeded to smoke. During radiation treatments, I'm still smoking because I'm that addicted.
Because when I tried to quit before, and there was probably about 4 honest attempts. At one time, the longest I made it was 4 months, and I failed. Nicotine won again.
That last line really stayed with me, because if you ever tried quitting smoking, you probably know how frustrating this can feel. You genuinely want to stop. You tell yourself, this time I'm done. And then craving hits, stress happens, life happens, and some more nicotine pulls you back again. If that's happened to you, I want you to know that you're not weak, and you're definitely not alone. A lot of people who finally quit smoking failed multiple times before it finally worked. So I started listening to people who actually managed to quit, and something surprising kept coming up. The people who succeeded usually didn't rely on willpower alone. They found ways to make quitting easier. And throughout this video, I want you to hear from real successful people who have been in your situation. Because sometimes hearing from someone who truly understands what it feels like will hit very differently. So for making this video, I went through the guidance shared by years of experience from the CDC, along with real life stories from people who successfully quit smoking, to pull together 6 practical proven steps that can genuinely make quitting feel easier. So let's start with something simple that helps way more than most people realize. So here's the step 1. Make your environment work for you, not for smoking. Sometimes craving starts before we even notice them. A lighter nearby, the smell of smoke, that usual cigarette stop, even certain places or routines can quietly trigger the urge. So if you're trying to quit, make your environment help for you. So the first thing in this method is to clean your space. Throw away all the cigarettes, lighters, ashtrays and matches from your home, car and workplace, etc. and wash anything that smells like smoke. It sounds small, but for many people it feels like a fresh start. And secondly, build your trustable support system. Tell people close to you that you're quitting. For the first few weeks, avoid smoking heavy places. Ask friends not to smoke around you. Call or text someone when cravings hit. And thirdly, avoid hidden triggers. Be extra careful around where cigarettes are sold, smoking zones, and old routines. And people, this is important. Before walking into a store or beat any trigger creating situations, that you quietly tell yourself in your brain, like a disclaimer to yourself, that I am changed person and I will stand up for myself no matter what. Because quitting gets easier when your brain gets fewer reminders to smoke.
Then also sharing my story with my daughter and letting her know that I had stopped smoking. I let another relative know that I had stopped smoking, and she would send me a text every day saying it's day 2 or it's day 3, and just encouraging me. And so I took the ashtray that I had out of my car, threw it away. I took my car, I had it detailed, so I wouldn't smell the smoke, because a car was like driving was a really big trigger for me as well. And so I knew if I got in my car and I smelled cigarette smoke, it was going to make me want one.
But for many people, smoking isn't only nicotine, it's a habit holding something, that familiar physical motion. So instead of leaving empty space, let's replace the habit, which takes us to the next step. The second one, which is find a safe, easy substitutes for cigarettes. A lot of smoking is physical routine, so keeping your hands and mouth busy can help more than you would think. If you are driving, waiting somewhere, or sitting at a restaurant, try toothpicks, straws, or cinnamon sticks. If restless energy hits, keep your hands busy. Like a fidget spinner, squeeze a sponge ball, play a game in your smartphone, or anything simple. And no, this doesn't sound like life-changing, but sometimes simple things are exactly what helps people through the hard moments.
They were able to give me some tips, some clues about how to make it a little bit easier. For example, break up your routines. Don't get out of the routine. Don't do the same thing at the same time through the day, because those routines for you include cigarettes.
But cravings don't only show up physically, sometimes they show up in your thoughts. And when they do, your brain can sound very convincing, which lands us to the third step, which is distract yourself quickly. If cravings hit hard for you, this one can really help, because here's something many people who quit realized. Cravings feel huge in the moment, but they usually don't last nearly as long as they feel. The trick is to interrupt them quickly. When an urge hits, go for a quick walk. Text or call someone, listen to music, play a game, watch something funny, do a puzzle, anything that shifts your attention. But here's something important. Don't wait until cravings hit to figure this out. Keep yourself a small distraction ideas always in your mind. Then when the urge comes, don't sit there arguing with it. Just pick something and move on. Sometimes getting through one craving is enough. Then another, then another.
I also picked a day that I would be really busy so that I wouldn't have the opportunity to smoke. I started taking walks, using my lungs for what they were meant to be used for, and just exercising my lungs instead of abusing them.
But sometimes the hardest battle isn't the craving itself, it's the voice in your head. Let's understand this in our fourth step, which is listen to the urge and then talk back. Because cravings lie. Seriously, when nicotine wants attention, your brain suddenly becomes very convincing. It says, you're stressed, you deserve a cigarette. Try answering back, I deserve a real break, not a nicotine withdrawal. Or maybe it says, just one puff. And if that thought comes, try reminding yourself, one puff feels easier now, but it makes tomorrow harder. This may sound strange at first, but it works because cravings become stronger when we automatically believe every thought. Instead, notice the thought, question it, answer it, and if it helps, write down your common craving thoughts and prepare your responses early.
My determination to quit and my determination to stay quit was it just got to the point where I finally had it. It was finally that strong to overcome the triggers and to overcome that little voice in my head saying, oh, come on, just one. Or I'll just have one. That's all I really want right now. Again, that constant gnawing of those little voices and all those cravings. Really, my determination to stay quit was stronger than those urges. That was a big thing. I was determined not to fail. I was not going to be beaten. I wish I still had it. I had a couple things written down at work, and I had posted up above my desk that some of the things that I wasn't going to fail. Nicotine wasn't going to beat me. I'm going to be the winner. I'm going to win this time. I'm not going to fail. I'm not going to be the loser. I'm not going to lose this battle. So I had these little things written down. I had about 6, 7 things written down. And that played a big, huge part.
And honestly, I think a lot of people understand that feeling. Sometimes nicotine wins because the craving sounds believable in the moment. But a craving is not a command, and it does pass, which brings me to something I really want you to remember. Even if you do everything right, cravings will still come. That doesn't mean you're falling. Which takes us to the fifth step, which is ride the wave. This one might sound simple, but it's powerful. When a craving comes, don't fight it. And don't immediately obey it either. Just notice it, because cravings are a lot like waves. They rise, peak, and then slowly fade. When the urge hits, try saying, I'm having a craving right now, but this feeling will pass. Even something that simple can take power away from it. And here's the good news, most cravings fade within minutes, and over time, they usually become weaker, little by little.
Find something that distracts you from smoking. Wait 10 minutes, it'll pass. It takes time to get through these things, and it took you a while to learn how to smoke. It's going to take you a while to unlearn to smoke.
And if cravings still feel really overwhelming, please hear this part too. That doesn't mean you failed. Sometimes it just means you need extra support, which lands us to the last and final sixth step, which says talk to a doctor if cravings feel too strong. And honestly, doctors, counselors, dentists, or etc. they often help many people quit and may have ideas you haven't thought of. And if you're using nicotine patches, gums, or etc. and urges still feel really hard to resist, talk to an expert in this area. Sometimes adjusting the dose or combining options can help. And if you're taking medicines to help quit smoking, let your doctor know if the cravings still feel intense. You do not have to force yourself through this alone. Sometimes the right support changes everything.
I'm John. I wanted to quit smoking for years. I tried several different times. Nothing seemed to work for me, but I didn't give up. Eventually, I found the right doctor, and together we came up with a plan that finally worked by using 2 quit smoking medicines and getting counseling. My tip is, keep trying. You only have to quit for good once.
If there's one thing I hope you take from this video, it's this. Quitting smoking is hard, really hard, and if you've tried before and slipped, that does not mean you're failed. A lot of people who eventually quit tried many times first. What mattered wasn't being perfect. What really mattered was making quitting easier, changing the environment, replacing habits, distracting cravings, talking back to the urges, writing the hard moments, and asking for help whenever needed. So if you're trying to quit right now, you don't have to do it perfectly. You just have to get through the next craving, one step at a time. And whenever you are having a tough time, always remind yourself this important phrase, which goes by the line, "This too shall pass." And finally, before ending this video, I just want to leave you with this one last footage.
And I was a hardcore smoker. I mean, I didn't do really nothing without cigarettes. And here I am, smoke-free now, you know, feeling fantastic. I'm gonna win this battle. I am. I don't smoke. I say that. I always keep saying that I don't smoke. I sort of like get that in my head that I'm a non-smoker. I don't smoke. For me to say that, like I said, sometimes I still like, wow, you know? It's like, because for we're talking 35 years. You do something for 35 years and then finally you're not doing it no more, it sort of like sets you back a little bit, like, wow, you know, it's like, it's cool. You know, I look at these commercials sometimes, you see, if I can do it, you can do it. Well, you know what? I'm here to tell you, if I can do it, I honestly don't care who you are and how much you smoke and for how long, you can do it.